Happy Saturday, everybody, and welcome to another LawnTube Live water cooler conversation. Thank you for joining us. Looks like we have quite a few people in the chat already, and I have Clint, the neighbor Dominator, with me tonight. Clint, how are you doing, good buddy?
What's up,
What's
man?
up, man?
I'm doing all
I'm
right.
doing all right.
Still trying to
Still
figure
trying
this
to
whole
figure
stuff
this whole
out.
stuff
So
out.
thanks for
So
having
thanks
me.
for having me.
This, live streaming never really goes quite as planned. And for those of us that could hear us in the countdown timer, God bless you. Um, so as we were kind of getting through some technical difficulties, I felt like we were like disarming a bomb, like right down to the last few seconds. But we got it figured out. So thanks for bearing with us, everybody. Um, we have quite a few people who've joined us in the chat already. A lot of new names I'm seeing in here, a lot of familiar faces. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out, Mike Haddad just gave us a super chat.
Mike,
Thank you very much, Mike. You
thanks.
did not have to do that, sir. So, if you've tuned into the show before, you know this is a pretty casual conversation between friends, YouTube creators, lawn enthusiasts, a couple of guys that have a way over the top hobby of caring for their lawns. But, here we are. It's the middle of January and we're talking about grass. I got snow on the ground. How about you, Clint?
You know what?
You
It
know
all
what?
just
It all just
melted.
melted.
You know, it's
You know,
we're
it's
cold
we're
though.
cold though.
It's really weird
It's
here in
really weird here
Michigan.
in Michigan.
It'll
Like
be
it'll
like
be
7
like 7
degrees,
degrees,
and
and
then
then
all of a sudden it shoots up to like 45 for a couple days.
So like I just did a
I just
snow
did a snow
video,
video,
and
and all that
gone.
snow's gone. So, but it's reading like -7 with wind chill right now. So I don't know. Michigan has the weirdest weather.
Yeah, so we got our first snow today, and we were supposed to get like 6 inches, and we ended up getting like maybe an inch, and it kind of reminded me of last year when we all had these big Toro snow blowers, and we were so excited to do snowblower reviews, and we got an inch of snow, and we're out there with these two-stage snow blowers. Like I thought about doing a parody TikTok video of like snowblower reviews in 2021 be like, and like out there blowing like an inch of snow with a snowblower, but I didn't have enough time to fit that into my schedule today. So
Yeah, last year, good old Kenny Cooper was roasting me for that because I had the 828 like big Toro, and I was snow blowing like maybe an inch. You know, I got lucky because there was a drift, and he's like, "Yeah, that's a lot of power for something you can just shovel." And I'm like, "I don't know, man." I'm like, I need to do something. It's like when you're doing all these grass videos in the summer, and then you're just sitting here in the house in the winter. It's like, well, as soon as there's a little bit of snow, I was out there.
yeah, and that's the thing too. When you get a new toy, you just want to play with it, right? And then
Oh yeah.
whenever you do get, from time to time, creators, we tend to get some free things from different vendors, and sometimes we feel a bit of pressure to get out there and do some content. But then in hindsight, you're like, maybe I should have waited a few more weeks for some more snow. You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
definitely guilty of that too. And I think that's what happened with a lot of us last year. But speaking of giving stuff away, we hope that you guys stick with us through the duration of the show because Clint is going to be giving some things away on the show, right?
Yes. I'm giving away. I talked with Turf Titan, and we're gonna be giving away this thatch buster. Soil. There's a lot of soil microbes in it. It helps break down a lot of thatch, and there's actually I'm getting educated on that stuff, so it's actually pretty cool. So some of that, and then their new product Commander, which is kind of like your instant green up type stuff. It has like iron, zinc, sulfur, manganese, all that. I think it's a 2203. So it's some pretty good stuff. So I'll be able to give 2 bottles of that away.
Nice. Yeah, I noticed you're wearing a Turf Titan hat, so you're representing full board tonight with Turf Titan.
Yeah. It's a company that, I've been searching for. We kind of found each other, and, I guess I don't know if we're getting into that, but the way I've always done it is throw her down,
Right.
And yeah, I'm kind of being a little more conscious about it, especially living on the water, and learning about. I'm starting to learn more about soil tests and soil. After doing some gardening, Rob helped me out and was like, "Man, you really got to look at your soil." And I started thinking about it, and then started doing a little research, and started getting more interested in like the soil microbes and wanted to learn a little bit more about that. And this Turf Titan comes from the ag industry. They come from BW Fusion, and they're a big company with soil microbes. And yeah, just we found each other, and I love their product line, and they're coming out with a lot of new stuff. And this season, I'm going to be rocking with some soil microbes. I'm not going all organic, you know. I'm not that, but you know, like anything that I can, you know, try and do a little bit, you know, to help out, I
Right.
guess, you
Yeah.
know.
You never want to go. You know, I'm not going to steal the line from um, Tropic Thunder, but you never want to go full.
Yeah.
You never want to go full organic. That could
Hmm.
be a trigger for some people, so we'll stay away from that one. But I've also
Yeah.
got some things that I plan to give away tonight, so I hope everybody sticks around. I've got a random giveaway engine I'm going to use. Probably pull some names out of the chat. Uh, I don't know. We really didn't talk about how we were going to go about doing this, but maybe we'll just, if someone's interested in winning a prize, have them, in the chat window, just throw up, maybe a number or some sort of catchphrase or something, uh, if you want to go ahead and enter to win that prize. So that'll be later on in the show. But really, what we do here in the water cooler chat is exactly what it is. Talk about whatever. Pretty much anything goes. So, and of course, we're going to be talking about grass. But how's your off season been? How's things been going for you? What have you been keeping busy with? And I guess anything going on that you want to talk about.
You know, I guess I just been trying to get my 2022 season in place, and I got a lot of fun stuff planned ahead. But you know, I don't have enough snow to do any kind of really real good snow videos. So I just been working on my content for this upcoming season, and it's actually going to be pretty cool. You want me to talk about that? You know,
Eddie in the chat says grass. Talk about grass. So we'll probably get
grass.
there. Since
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of the things I'm going to be working like in this off season that I've been working on. I'm working with a couple new companies, and a big one that I'm really excited for is I'm working with Great Lakes Ace Hardware. So they're kind of local. They're right next to my pizza place, you know, and one of my employees, he just purchased a house. 20 years old, bought a house,
wow,
and
20?
pretty. Yeah, 20 years
Wow.
old. Kid's a
Props, man.
workaholic, you know, and real proud of him. And but the lawn, it looks like, you know, not it does not look good. And so I was talking with Great Lakes Ace, just Ace Hardware, kind of, you know, they're just around the Great Lakes. There's like 60
Yeah, I
locations.
think Ace Hardware franchises, and they all have their own kind of brand of Ace. I see it all the time.
Yeah,
Everywhere I go, it's Westlake Ace or whatever Ace
yeah,
Hardware. So yeah, that must be the franchise around you.
yeah. And they're connected to, you know, I'm a pizza boy. You know, I make pizzas, and they're connected. We share a wall, and they order pizza all the time. And you know, I just talked with them, told them the whole story about my manager, and they're like, well, let's set something up. So I met with their social media marketing manager. I don't know, big words. And he's like, yeah, let's do something for them. And they're going to sponsor like a little series, and we're going to, you know, kill off the lawn, use some of their Scott's products and some of their seed and stuff. And they're going to fund the whole thing. And I think they might even give them a lawnmower. So I was like,
Nice.
sounds good, you know, like just helping, you know, help this kid out. And you know, why not? You know, I kind of know what I'm doing. So, you know, I told him I'd help him out, you know, because he's never owned a lawnmower. This is his first lawn. So
I
it's
can
pretty
totally
exciting.
relate as a new homeowner. I remember back, I think it was 2013 when my wife and I bought our first house, and it's like overwhelming the amount of things that you got to get right. And for me, like, the lawn was kind of the last thing on the line items that I needed to take care of. We bought an older house, needed a bunch of renovations, and the lawn just for the first couple years we lived there, I just didn't even look at it. It was mostly clover anyway. So that's awesome for a company like
Hmm.
Ace, a big company like that, to work with creators like us to help somebody else out in the community, right? Especially someone that that works really hard. Speaking of lawnmowers, somebody called you out in the chat. See if I can find it. I'll go back up. Anyway, so you got a Toro Greensmaster this year alongside the Owlet. So,
Yeah.
um, so you
Yeah,
doubled
I did.
your count on greens mowers. Let's talk about your greens mower. So, is it going from the Owlet Liberty, which is a battery powered mower, the Owlet's more of a homeowner style reel mower to the greens mower. How much of a learning curve was there for you to operate that machine versus your Owlet? Because the Owlet, right, is so light and user friendly, and the Greensmaster's not.
Yeah. Yeah, like, honestly, like, I mean, I love the Allet. Like, I use it more than the Greensmaster, but, like, the Allet feels seriously like it almost feels like a toy compared to the Greensmaster because like, when I bring out my Allet to try not to scratch up, like, the drum on the back, I put it on, like, a little like fridge type doll or like this little dolly and I wheel it out and just straight up pick it up. The thing's like 80 pounds and I just set it on the lawn. And when I first used this Greensmaster, I'm talking, I mean, I tried one over at Justin's house, but when I got one and I got to like go full speed and try it out, and I'm talking, this thing was pulling me all over the place. And I see people like do that spin move, like you see like lawn tools and people that use them all the time. They're just going and they whip it around. And I tried doing that, and oh my gosh,
Did you
like
tear up
the
some
thing went
grass?
out in the street. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It was embarrassing. Like if my neighbors were out there, they're probably like, what the heck is this guy doing? So then I learned that you can like kind of throttle it down. But when I just started it on full throttle and this thing like popped the wheelie and took off and I was just chasing it. I'm like, oh no, man. I'm like, what did I get
Yeah, they make
myself
it
into? But yeah,
the
it's
the guys that use the
oh
greens
sorry.
mowers all the time, they make it look so easy. I don't know if you ever watched the YouTube videos of like behind the scenes at like the US Open, and you see the
Mhm.
all the um, like the superintendents and everyone, like the greenskeepers, they're out like at like the break of dawn, right? The sun's just coming up. They're out there mowing greens, they're mowing fairways, and they're whipping those things around, making these beautiful, beautiful stripes, beautiful lines. And then you use one of those mowers, and you're like, oh man, I got an appreciation for somebody who's like can basically use these like it's almost like having knife skills. Like it's that impressive to me.
Yes, yes, it is. And I've looked on TikTok on a couple of grass accounts where like they do the professional mowers and they do this whip thing and I know what you're talking about. It's a skill and every time I do it I'm like I go straight and my yard's only 1,500 square feet that I'm real mowing right now. And so it's like as soon as I get the walking pace, it's like I'm pulling that like gear back and I'm just like, and I stop it and then like I turn it around and I'm just like, man, whereas the Allet, it's an easy walking pace. But I do have the Greensmaster and the thing's awesome, but I use the Allet every time because, I think, I'm not super, up to par on the education level on the real mowers, but like one's a 6 blade and the other one I believe is an 11 blade. And the since I mow it around like 3/4 of an inch and my lawn is not perfectly level, I feel that the Greensmaster, which it is sharp, and I had it all serviced. It doesn't cut as good as the Allet. I think that I need to like bring my ground in order to get a better cut because I caught myself, having to go over it, and I think if I maintained it a shorter cut, I could use that thing. But yeah, I
Did
use
you
the
say it was an
Allet every
11 blade?
time. You know,
Yeah, so
I believe
I
so.
I, don't, I can't remember what height you're cutting the ryegrass. The 11 blade is
There's three.
the 11 blade is really designed for really low cut turf, like tenth of an inch, um, like like even um, bent grass greens, yeah,
Like a
bent
putting green.
grass, straight POA greens, at like a tenth of an inch, and I've heard it they struggle a little bit, above like a quarter of an inch, so that may be the problem. You may want to look into getting like an 8 blade for that. You probably see a much better result at cutting it around an inch.
Well, honestly, I couldn't pass up on the deal. It was I got it super cheap at the local golf course, and I know the superintendent over there. and he hooked me up with his guy, and I couldn't pass on the deal. But someone already wants to buy it, and they messaged me because they saw I did like a Instagram story of me like doing my putting green that I had, and the thing was pulling me around, and like my one of my friends messaged me, and they're just like, the thing's like pulling you around there, TND, like, I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, I've been looking for one of those, and they're kind of hard to find. And I was like, well, it's yours, man. I'm like, so yeah, I'm getting rid of that thing. And I'm actually my buddy Jordan, he's in the chat. He's looking at buying my Allet because I purchased the Sterling already, the 20 inch, because that's the big reason why I got the Greensmaster, was because the 17-inch cut, it's even though it's only 1,500 square feet, I like doing double doubles, like the wider look, because when you do that 17-inch, it was like a little bit too small. So I would do the double pass. When you have that Greensmaster, that thing, I mean, we're talking like 7, 8 passes. I'm done with that Greensmaster. Whereas the Allet's a little bit longer, and I'm adding another 2,000 square feet of real mowing. So that's why I picked that up. But it just, I hate to say it, but I think it might be a little too much machine for
Give
me.
give it some
So
time, and you'll really get into it. So are you gonna get rid of the Liberty, or are you gonna keep that in the family? Are you gonna just keep accumulating
no,
equipment into your garage until someone demands that you thin the herd a little bit?
that's already been demanded because I have a manual reel mower. I got my Great Stakes. I also have the Sunjoe cordless battery powered reel mower. I have a Honda. I have an Ego. I have the Allet. I have Toro. And at my house, I don't have a basement because I live in the water. So a lot of our stuff that would be normally in a basement is in the garage. So now it's like our personal belongings are
Oh,
surrounded by lawnmowers. And the missus is like, "You just bought another one?" I'm like, the two are supposedly, people want them. So, I if not, I'll hold on to them. But I got the 20 inch, so it saves a little bit of time. I mean, the 3 inches,
makes a difference.
I
Makes a
mean,
huge
it's a lot.
difference.
It
So the
Yeah,
Sterling is the
it
brand
does.
new Allet that just came out, right? I think they announced that a few months ago.
Yeah.
In their partnership with Ego, they're using Ego batteries, which is really smart because if you're already on the Ego platform, makes sense, right? Um,
Hmm.
do you have you had it? I guess I can't. You haven't had a chance to use it. I was going to ask on your opinion on it, but from the kind of the promos that I saw on it, it looked like a really cool machine.
Yeah, it does. And I heard a little bit about it before they debuted it. And I mean, the fact that they're using an Ego battery, and I have Ego batteries, I was just like, no brainer for me. Plus, they offered the 20 inch. So I was like, I just felt like I had to pull the trigger. But, another thing too is that I'm not a huge Greenworks fan, and that's what the batteries were with the Liberty. And I bought like the trimmer and the edger and like blowers and stuff like that. And I'm not a huge fan of like their accessories. Whereas I have like the blower for Ego, and I have the tiller, the trimmer, and edger for Ego, and it's a lot more powerful. As far as the battery life for the Liberty, that's fine. I have no problems, but it's all the other little guys that I bought with it. I wasn't a fan. So I didn't want three types of batteries in the garage. Trying to limit to
Yeah,
two. Toro
I've
and
got
Ego
just a mountain of
batteries.
Ego and Toro batteries in my garage, and I've got just as many chargers to go with them, which is, I don't even know what to do with all of these things. But once you start getting into the battery powered equipment, I almost feel like you can't have too many batteries because if you get one that's down, you need another one that's fully charged, to back it up right away. Especially if you're in the middle of trimming your lawn, I can't wait an hour for a battery to charge to go back and trim it.
Yeah, I know. I know. And man, those batteries are so expensive, but you need them, and a big reason why I got into the battery, I have nothing against gas at all. But the when I got my Allet, it was I just had my daughter, and I didn't want the loud lawnmower. And I was just like, I looked up battery powered. There was Swordman and there was Allet, and like the Swordman was just so much more money. And I was just like, all right, well, I'll try it out. And then I fell in love with it. So after that, it was I bought battery everything, and it's so much quieter, and not that there's a problem smelling like exhaust after. I like the smell of gas, but it's kind of cool where like I've had it before where the missus is like, "We got to get going," and I'm just like finishing up the lawn, and then I can just jump right in the car and like I don't smell like
Yeah,
crap. So it's
I've
kind of
got the
cool.
Honda on my cow trimmer, which is the cow trimmer is probably the least sexy of all the real mowers you can possibly buy, but man, it cuts incredibly well. I mean, it does what I want it to do. I do like that I can get the Honda platform on it. I don't imagine they're going to have a battery platform. I talked to the California trimmer people. I haven't talked to them, since the off season kicked off, but throughout the year we talk about, things that they can, change to make the mower a little bit more user friendly. What are people looking for? What sorts of things would I change about it? They kind of ask my feedback on it quite a bit, and I give them a little bit of leeway on. I think you should do this. There's a lot of mower manufacturers can't do right now because of supply chain issues and workforce problems. But I think Cal Trimmer is kind of trying to get into the more feature rich type of mower, not just the basic reel mower. Because whatever they're doing, the way that they use the really hard steel reel with the soft steel bed knife, and it has a relief grind on it. The way that it cuts a lot like a greens mower would, just not at greens mower heights.
Hmm.
I think there's some things they can do to do a little bit better to appeal to the market aside from their ridiculous price point, which is like $1,000 entry. You know what I mean? If you want to get into real mowing, Cal
Hmm.
trimmer, hey, I'm willing to spend $1,000 on a real mower. Cal trimmer is probably the first thing you're going to look at. Then you start looking at Swartman, and you start looking at the Allets, and you're like, okay, maybe I'm ready to graduate and buy a $3,000 or $4,000 real mower. But not everybody's in that market. But you know, like they say in the car business, right? There's an ass for every seat. So someone's going to buy it.
Yeah, you got a guest behind you.
Oh, that is my daughter. Um, Hold on one second, okay?
Yeah. I can get in the chat.
Speaking of the chat, so we have quite a few people in the chat, and I feel like we need to shout a few of them out because there are some new faces in here. Of course, we have Princess Cut Lawn Care is in the house. We have Jamie the accountant. Lawn Radiance is here. There's Mr. Kenny Cooper. Hey, Kenny, how are you, sir? Mr. Lush Lawns. Mosquito Sniper System in the house. Ryan, how are you, sir? It's been a long time since I've heard from you. Super TA, of course, he's a regular on the channel. Farm Dad, how you doing, man? I love your shorts that you do on the gram for
Bill,
sure. Rooted Lawn Care, he
you
is,
guys, the
man. That
man.
guy, he pumps out so much content. I don't know how he finds the time. I know I.
And it's awesome. It's
It
every single
is.
one of them's
Turf
awesome.
Therapy in the house, all the way from Germany. Glad you could spend some time with us. Let's see who else we got up here. Harper Explores. Harper, how are you, sir? Papa Mo's Low. I haven't seen Papa Mo's Low around in a while. How you doing? And Lawn Pusher. Of course, Lawn Pusher. Another one who's always putting out content. Actually, I find a lot of his stuff useful. He finds these products that um, I didn't know existed, and then I watch his shorts and things, and I'm like, oh my god, man, this guy's like always fidgeting with stuff. There's like always something new. He's always doing something. Like I feel like Lawn Pusher's the kind of guy who just never sits down for a minute.
Yeah. So Lawn Pusher, I was just talking with him. He's a good buddy of mine, and he just picked up new, like he just moved, and that is huge, man. He moved, all the way to Ohio from, I
Yeah,
believe, Louisiana, and downsized his house and got it up. He's fixing it all up, and then now, I was talking to him just yesterday, and he's ready to start pumping out some content, and it's pretty exciting. He's like he bought the new Sony, it's a new Sony ZV-1. He's got all the gear set up, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot of good content
that's a
from
slippery
him,
slope.
because he used to just use his
Yeah,
cell phone, and now he's like he's going to be stepping it up. So that guy's hilarious.
agreed.
I love watching
Agreed.
all
Yeah,
of his
he
videos.
he keeps it real, and I certainly. Kenny Cooper says apparently you haven't seen his massage chair. I guess I missed that one. But if the guy does ever sit, then a massage chair would probably be my first choice.
Yeah, I'm in a chat with him and Kenny, Mike Dad, Turf Therapy. We got our own little like. It's been going on for a couple years, and I've seen the chair. He put it in the chat. The thing looks like a UFO. It's one of those like it encases you and it massages everything. I'm just like, man, that thing. It's intimidating. I wouldn't even sit in that
Speaking
thing.
of being busy, from people who don't sit down for the amount of content that you put out and some of the stuff I saw from you this year, it seemed like you were all over the Midwest with, you know, going to people's houses, shooting some content, GIE. And so I wanted to take a little bit of time to kind of go through your lawn journey this year. It's one of the things we typically do on the show. By the way, Turf Titan's here, so you better clean it up, Clint. Um, hey, Turf Titan,
Uh
thanks
oh,
for joining the show. Uh, but just kind of take us through Turf,
Titan.
Turf Titan.
What's up?
Um, so how last year, you and I had a conversation about, you wanted to renovate. You moved in this new house, right? Maybe just a few feet from your old house, and
Yeah,
and
it's five
yeah,
houses away.
you
It's
moved.
ridiculous.
You moved 5 feet away from your old house, and the house that you moved into, you weren't happy with the lawn. And I think guys like you and I, we get it, and that's the first thing we just can't wait to just tear into it, right? We're killing it. We're starting over. So what do you you know from I guess start to finish, right? What was the first thing that you wanted to do, and how did you go about taking care of the new place?
So it was it's pretty funny. I'm living in my old house, and now the new lawn at the new house is just it's terrible. It was all like the from digging out the foundation of the house. It's all the lawn was all weeds. It had every kind of weed, every uh, I started killing the grass. And I was actually filming content before I lived there, and I just that was what was it? Not just this August, not 2020, 2020 August. Yeah. That died off. I kind of grinded it up. I was actually talking with you. It was you and I was talking with Mr. Martin, and I wanted to do sand. I wanted to. It was my first time ever being able to start over or like starting fresh. Because like my other lawn was some kind of Kentucky bluegrass, and I put blue bank in there, and I loved it. But I mean, I heard how well because I like stripes, and I heard how well perennial ryegrass stripes, and I'm going 100% ryegrass, and then I wanted it to be as level as possible, and I talked with you about it, and I think we came up with it was like an 80%. Did I want to say it was 8 yards of sand, and I believe it was 3 yards of dirt, and then they mixed it all up there for me, and then I just started throwing it all over, and I did majority of that by myself. Like I had at the time he's 15, my 15-year-old son, Nico, he done. And I had spotlights up and I was like working through the night, but it's a lot of work, but man, it was a lot of fun. I enjoy it. And but yeah, it was majority sand. And then later on I leveled more with sand now. So I just keep doing the sand thing now, the sand caps. So
Gotcha. So
yeah.
everyone in the chat saying when I show the pictures that the sound is cutting out. So I won't do that anymore. Sorry, guys. Um, so I just put up the picture of the sand spread out. Looks like it was just you, Nico, and a gorilla cart, right? And some leveling tools with all that sand. I don't know if everyone heard it because the pictures were up, but I think you said you ordered like 11 yards of material to spread by yourself.
Yeah, it was 8 yards of dirt or sand and yards of dirt. And it was all screened and they mixed it there for me. It was pretty nice. And yeah, it was just Nico and I, and he helped me out, and there were some breaks in there, but we got it all done in one day. As far as getting it all out there and kind of leveling it, and then the next day, I picked up the rolling pin and the lawn roller thing, and I had a lawn level too, and I was supposed to talk to George about that when I was doing that because I snapped that thing. And because I remember he asked me something like, "What kind of level tool does everyone use?" It was like one of it, like a long time ago, and I was like, "Don't buy the one that I had," because I was like, it was within the first like little bit I was using it, and I just broke it, and I'm like, "Man, this thing is a piece of junk."
Wooden handle?
And so then like I had to makeshift it and like put a screw in there, and now it's like when I use it right now, it's like not straight, it's like this, and it's whatever, it works,
Yeah, I think
so.
people get a little bit wrapped around the axle when it comes to having, every single piece of equipment possible. And I think Jordan says it best, whatever equipment you have is better than the equipment that you wish you had. And a lot of times you can
Uh-huh.
get a lot of things done with less. Going back to being a new homeowner, you know how many projects I did with no tools, or at least not the right tools, or maybe I borrowed something from a neighbor. And that's how my leveling project was. I did the same thing you did, where I called a local compost company. They do compost, topsoil, and sand, and I we ordered mason sand mixed with like their highest quality topsoil, and they mix it on site. And they have this big machine that mixes all of it up, and then they deliver it to your front yard. And when the guy came, I'm like, no, just dump it right in the middle of the yard. And he's like, you sure you want me to back this truck up on your grass? I'm like, just dump it. Just I don't want to move it from the street to the grass. I want you to just dump it in the middle of the lawn,
Yeah.
and we'll worry about it from there. And so, sure enough, he backs it up right in the middle of the lawn and just dumps it. And my wife actually helped me level. She loves to get out and get her hands dirty and do stuff in the lawn and do landscaping. That's kind of her thing. So, um, lucky I got I don't have a 15-year-old son to go out there and help me throw sand, but my wife's always down to go out and help.
Yeah, I had the missus help me out with a live edge once out front, and the whole time she's like, there's worms, spiders, like she's just doing everything in the dirt. She's like, this is gross. She's like, why do you like doing this so much? And I'm trapped inside the pizza place all the time. We have 3 kids, and I'm always with that. So when I'm in the yard, I am like not to be messed with, and I just do my own thing, and I don't care what's out there in the dirt. It's just like, yeah, it's so rewarding. It's like I tell her, I'm like, it's almost like therapy, like turf
It
therapy.
is.
It's when I'm done with, like, I see the before, and then I'm always taking pictures of it, and I always get made fun of for taking pictures of my lawn, in the before, but then when you see the after the flowers came through, she's like, at the end of the season, she's just like, this is so gorgeous, and
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
rewarding.
yeah, I'm like, you helped with that, and she's just like, yeah, I don't like
So
worms. So
here's the
I'm like, all
before.
right.
I've got up. This was the lawn that you before you even closed on the house. This is what the lawn looked like before you killed it. And then I also have a picture of what it looked like later that fall. And, you know, I got to tell you, the ryegrass, um, it's really something to behold. Whenever you do ryegrass right, there's just something about it. And the way that your lawn turned out compared to what it was, from pictures, my lawn's not perfectly level, but even in photos, it looks really, really level. When you walk your lawn or when you mow it, does it feel pretty flat? Or do you have some areas that may need some work? Because just from looking at the pictures that you sent, I mean, the grass looks great to begin, but it also looks incredibly flat.
Uh, no, it is not flat.
Didn't think so.
Because uh, when I was doing, it was right when the seed started growing. I was doing a video, and there is the water pressure seemed really weak, and I went out and bought a new sprinkler, and I put it at the end of the video, and I like had the sprinkler on full blast. It was covering like a 10-foot by 10-foot area, if that. And this thing is supposed to cover like 4,000 square feet. And I'm like, I'm in trouble. I'm like, I just did all this work and I can't even water it. And I'm going to be out there by hand. And I'm like, I don't think so. So I called the city, and they're like, well, maybe the valve is shut off, or broken. And I'm like, all right, we'll come fix it. Not thinking that thing was in the center of the lawn. And I just got done like leveling everything, and the seed was like, and I had been watering by hand and stuff, and dragging this sprinkler around, trying to be so gentle. And then they brought over these trucks, and they were digging, and then they made a huge dip in the yard. And it turns out everything was fine. I just have crappy water pressure. But what was funny, that was the first time ever I was they were bringing in their own seed. They were like filling up the hole, and the guy was bringing over some kind of like unmarked bag of seed. And I'm like, no, don't do that. And the guy goes, you know what? I figured that. And I go, what does that mean? And he goes, I've seen your YouTube channel. He goes, your thing on your shirt. He's like, I've seen you like on the Instagram or Facebook or whatever. And he's like, I figured you had your own seed. And I was all like, that was the first time. I think I had like 700 subs. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh man,
I get
cool.
that too. My
You
my
know,
the
but
FedEx guy that
yeah,
comes through my neighborhood is a subscriber, so he's always jumping out of the truck and asking me questions whenever I'm out there when he's delivering something and I'm in the lawn. He'll always jump out and ask me questions. Yeah, I mean your lawn turned out so nice that you made it into Stripe Life magazine in fall of 2020. Uh, tell us a little about tell us a little
yeah,
about Stripe Life
right.
magazine. That's a pretty prestigious thing to happen to you, Clint.
Yeah, Kenny Cooper made that for me. I don't know, he had someone do that. He did it as a joke, because and there was actually leaves on the lawn, and whoever did
Oh,
it was able to remove the leaves, and they put like the stripe light stuff on there. But I'm looking at the chat. Kenny's like, how flat would you say my putting green is in comparison to yours? Kenny's putting green is like completely flat compared to my lawn. My lawn's not crazy. Another thing too that camera doesn't show is that like when I was at Justin, the lawn whisperer's house, his lawn was like, it's crazy how steep his yard is. And on camera, you're looking at that and it's like, oh, it looks like there's a tiny little hill. Like when I was using his Greensmaster, like I wouldn't go past the top of the hill because I was too scared because I thought I'd
his
lose it
side
into his
yard, his
fence,
side yard.
and he said,
Yeah.
yeah, but he was sitting there doing that like no problem, and I'm like, man, there's no way. And like even on the other side where he had his fescue was really long on the other side of the house, it was real steep. And my yard actually it's not steep, but I mean I noticed that. I looked at my lawn on camera and I'm like, that is such a lie. I'm like, I have an angle, big time that goes on there. And there's a couple other low spots because I did kind of rush the process. I wanted to, keep leveling it and stuff, but we're getting towards the end of August, beginning of September, or it might have even been September. Honestly, I'd have to go back and look at the pictures. It might have been September when I planted it. Yeah, I think it was September when I planted the lawn. And I was like, I got to get this thing planted, so we have something to cut this year. And that way I can go into the season with a lawn, and, yeah, there's some bumps in there, but nothing that like, the real mower, like how it has that front bar, you can't tell, driving by, you have to walk the land in order to really notice it. But for the most part now, it's pretty level after the big sand
Do you
project that
get
I
people
just
drive
did.
by and stop and ask you, "What is going on here? What what are you doing? Why does your lawn look that way?" Because I get people, mostly retired guys that, golf in the middle of the day, right? And it does happen. And there's a guy
Yeah.
that stops by all the time on his way back from playing around a golf, looks at it and he's like, "Looks better than the golf course did today." And he's like, "What are you doing here?" And I explained to him, how insane I am. And he's like, "Well, it looks good. Keep it up. I just want to like throw a ball out there and start chipping around." And I'm like, "Hey, man, if I ever see you out here, I'll come out and join you." I'd love to jump off one of my work meetings, come out and just chip around in my front yard. But do you get people that just stop and ask you questions when you're out there about, what the hell's going on, man? Why does your lawn look like this and mine doesn't?
Yeah, no, it where I live, it's like all retired people. I'm the youngest guy in the block, and I'm about to be 39 years old. I'm almost 40, and I've had people stop. They ask, and I had one couple, older couple. They were walking down the street, and they had never seen the real mower. And the outlet does look different than a. It looks a little different with that green and like that the plastic box on there. They're like, "What is that thing?" And they watched me cut my lawn. They just sat out there and watched me. I had seen them before, like, you wave and stuff, but like they stopped and watched, and I was just like, "Yeah, go." They're like, "This." They're like, "We're not bothering you,
No, it's
are
just
we?" And I'm
just a
like,
little
"No,
weird,
like if
you
you
know.
want to." I know it's just weird. You're watching me, but like because it's so quiet because it's battery powered, and the lawn I had it real short. It was in the beginning of the season before like the real heat came, so like you can go a little bit shorter, and yeah, and then my neighbor across the street. When I was dumping all the sand and dirt on there, he's just like, I've never seen anyone do that. He's like, why would you do that to your lawn? And I'm just like, I'm a crazy person. I'm like, I want it to be level, and I want a real mow. But the coolest thing that happened, since this is the water cooler talk, right? So I was doing my lawn one morning, and I'm rinsing off my tools, and I hear someone yell like they had this weird voice like, "Hey man." And I turn around and I look, and Uncle Cracker,
No
the
way.
singer, he lives on my street. Yeah, and he's just like, he's like, "Is that effing real, man?" And I'm like,
Are
"Yeah,
you real?
dude, it's real." And I know, and I was like, kind of like trying not to be like, "Oh my gosh," because like I don't listen to your music, but like I was like, "Yeah, man, it's real." And then he just asked me about what I do, and then I noticed because I like when I walk my daughter, I pass by his house, and it's one of those wave things, and I told him, I'm like, "Man, I'm like, your lawn looked terrible last year." He had some kind of disease all over it. He goes, "I know." He goes, "I kept watering it," and I wasn't about to tell him that like, you got a fungus problem and you're adding water to the problem, and I'm like, "Yeah, the water helped out, man. It looked good later, but it was
Okay.
cool,
Yeah.
I kind of
So
felt
you
it,
just
it was,
send them
you
on
know.
their way.
Yeah, yeah. So, but it was cool. That was like, one of the people that was just like kind of like in shock. That's, the guy has a lot better things to do, but he's talking about grass. I could talk forever about grass, man. So,
So what do you want to do? Do you
but
want to go ahead and give something away right now? We're we're into the chat quite a bit. Do you want to pick something to give away? I've got
yeah,
a list of names here on my phone, and we can randomly pick something. What do you want to give away?
I mean, is Turf Titan still in the chat? Is Andrew
I
still
think Turf Titan's still. I think
around?
they're still in the
Because,
building. If you're in the chat, I've got you down. Um, hello, Grace Ortiz. Thanks for joining. Um,
hey, Grace. Well, yeah, let's give away. I have the Thatch Buster. It's a 32-ounce bottle, and the new Commander that's ready to come out. So I think it's out already, but yeah, let's
okay,
give that away, man.
so I've
That's
got a
cool.
random generator here on my phone. I'm gonna spin. I took all the names down from the chat, and if you do win, reach out to Clint or myself. I'll provide our emails in the description on this video. Just send us your address, your name, and where you want to get sent to. So Gonna click to spin, and so we got the first one going here. See if I can focus. Oh, man, this one's right on the line. Lawn Radiance, first winner. All right.
Hey.
So go ahead and after the show, I'll leave Clint's email in the chat description, the chat description, the video description, and send us your information, and we'll get that sent out to you. Let me refocus my camera. So I'll go ahead too, and I will. I'm gonna remove him from the wheel. I've got a super sweet turf culture hat. This is a New Era 3930 Flex Fit cap, the custom turf culture logo on it, and we're gonna spin the wheel, and we're gonna give one of those away. So here we go. This is how the best producers do it. In case you didn't know, who is it? Super TA. Super TA won the hat.
Hey, Super TA. Super TA is the man.
Awesome. Super TA, I'll be sending you a hat, sir. Send me your information, and I will get that shipped out to you as soon as I can. So let's jump back into it. So, I mean, we talked a little bit about kind of your travels this year. You know, you certainly made your rounds, and I've got some pictures that I wanted to bring up. I think this is the Midwest crew, or at least part of the Midwest crew, hanging out by the pool table. I believe Lake House Lawn Care, right? I think I got you. I've got Lake House Princess and um, uh, Jason G. Tell us a little bit about that trip.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I got to meet all those guys and hang out. I went met Kyle, and he helped me out, taught me a little, or showed me a little bit about his homemade lawn striper. And he gave me his blessing to show my followers that, even though they probably already
Right.
saw it all, but I was able to do that on my channel. And then I met Jason G, real good guy, and George showed up. I was a little worried George wasn't going to show up. He kept giving excuses, but he showed up, and it was fun. We just hung out, talked grass, and talked about the season, and we were all real mowing in the backyard. And what else was it? Oh, we had like this little Olympics, like grass Olympics in the basement that Kyle set up, and we were playing pool, and we had teams, and we were playing a bit of I think it was like 9 ball or something like that, and then he had a
Cutthroat.
basketball
You guys
hoop
playing
in the
cutthroat?
basement, one of those like games.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I think that's what it was. And then he had a putting green downstairs, like a little like just like a little mat, and it was pretty cool. But we had a storm that day, and flipped his table
Oh
over
man.
and stuff like that, and it was pretty wicked. But yeah, it was cool. And then after I met up with them for the day, stayed at a real crappy
Nice.
hotel after, and then went over to Kenny's house, and Jason went over there, and we met up. And man, Kenny Cooper has a really nice plot of land, man. I'm talking, that's the dream there. And the videos that he does and pictures don't, what is it, don't do justice. It's like the he has like a stream that goes all the way around the property. That property goes way out back. He's got big trees, and he's got a beach and stuff out back. And I tried using a zero turn, and that was a joke. I am not meant for those things. I was going like 2 miles an hour, and my lines were all, it was bad. But yeah, it was a lot of fun meeting those guys. And it's just when you meet them, they're the exact same as they are on
Yeah,
their
it's
videos,
good. I like
And
it when people are
yeah.
genuine on their videos. I can't do like a character. You know what I mean? It's something that I can't bring myself to like to characterize my content. You know what I mean? I think there's people out there that definitely
Hmm.
do,
Yeah.
but and I one of the things, and I've mentioned this before in previous shows, is that a lot of times when I'm filming, like I have no personality. I feel like I'm just watching a robot talk about grass, and I'm like kind of cringe when I watch because if and a lot of people haven't met me in person, but if you ever met me in person, like I'm the I'm a bred salesperson. I don't ever shut up, and I'm very charismatic, and I that just doesn't come across in my YouTube content for some reason. I don't understand. I turn into like a news broadcaster, and I need to get out of doing that because because I can't edit another video hearing myself in that sort of light. But I mean, I thought it was cool that you got to go out and visit some guys. You know, I would love to do that. If I could ever find time in my busy schedule to do like a turf tour, like you did this year, I thought that was pretty neat. But you got to go out and visit some of the other content creators.
Yeah, I visited Justin too. He was the first one I went and saw in the beginning of the season, and he's another one, man. That guy's tall. He's like really tall, and it was it's just funny. He was the first like other YouTuber that I met, and like I said, they're all the same. If anything, everyone's even nicer than what you think. Not that anyone's mean, or like have a chip on their shoulder, but everyone's just like, I don't know. They're just like not like open arms or anything, but they're just super nice and just like just you talk like you watch them on the TV thing, and the YouTubes, and you see them, and like I know what kind of grass like people have, and it's like I know stuff about their lawn already, and it's
Yeah,
like I've never even met them
it's like
before, and it's kind
the
of
stigma where you
creepy,
never
but
wanna meet
it's
your
kind of cool.
heroes, because you never know who's gonna be just the
Yeah.
worst type of human, and, that would be the worst thing to, like, try and go meet up with somebody, spend some of your own time, your own money to go out and come visit them, and then it turns out that they're just a total turd, That's, that would be the worst. But, yeah, I think
Yeah.
genuinely, most of the people that are in this community that we're in with lawn care creators are I mean, let's face it. We're a bunch of guys who cut grass, film ourselves cutting grass, fertilize grass, and film ourselves fertilizing grass. I mean, how harmless can we be? you know, it's just
I know.
one of those things where sometimes I wonder, like, why do I do this? But I do get enjoyment out of it, and the amount of people that reach out to me and say, this particular thing that you said or did really helped me either you helped me understand and
Yeah.
clarify, or I wanted to improve my home because of something I saw you do. Like that's the thing that keeps it going. Is there are times where all of
Hmm.
us will probably say, man, I just really don't want to do a video this week, or I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I'm sure we all go through that.
Hmm.
But then the people that say,
Oh yeah.
that reach out, that are so thankful that you're putting out content and you're helping them, it really kind of keeps you going.
No, I couldn't agree more. There's times where it's just like, man, I really don't want to go out there and do it. Like, I just want to cut my grass. Why do I got to film it every single time? And but I don't know. It's just a reward. It feels good. Like I enjoy talking to the community's awesome. And especially like on Instagram, I talk with a lot of people, and they ask me questions, and I tell them I'm like, I'm not a scientist. I say it all the time. I'm not a scientist. I'm like, I can tell you from my personal experience what I've done, and I can tell you the products that I have, which ones, you know, I wouldn't buy any greens works, but like, I could, give
Right.
you point you in the right direction, I guess. Like when it comes down to when people start asking me, like, yeah, the funny one is when people will message me and I'm in Michigan and I get people from Florida, they're just like, yeah, I got this weed in my Bermuda. What should I use? And I'm like, they're like, should I use tenacity? And I go, to be honest with you, you're better off on looking up on Google. I go, because I'm from Michigan, man. I'm like, I don't know, tenacity might smoke your whole lawn, and here I am. I'm like, yeah, I use tenacity all the time. Go ahead, throw it all over the place, man. It's fine. And I'm like, Google it, or maybe you might want to ask somebody like farther south than me. I'm just
Ask a
like
pro.
honest
You know.
with it.
Scott O'Hare,
Yeah. Right.
thank you so much for that super chat. You certainly did not have to do that, but it's very appreciated. Thank you,
Scott's the
sir.
man.
Maybe we'll
Scott is
try
the
and rig
man.
a giveaway for you
Seriously.
a little bit later.
Okay.
We got some more stuff coming up. So, I mean, you visited a lot of lawns this year, and one of the questions I always ask the guests on the show is, if you had to trade if your lawn looks great, right? I'm sure someone would be happy to acquire your lawn, but if you had to trade lawns with somebody, who would you trade with, and why?
Man. Like honestly, after going out there, it's tough to choose, but like, I would have to say Kenny's house. Like Kenny Cooper, he has it all. You know, he has the trees. He's got a lot of land. Like I would do something where like I would do like the surrounding part of the house, probably real mow, and then the rest of it's lawn. And just it's nice. It's nice living on the water. Like I enjoy being on the water. And he has water. He has like the trees, and plus he's got the putting green up front.
True.
You know,
And a
he's
whole
got
front yard
everything
that you
on
never
there, and
even
it's
see in
just
the videos, you know?
yeah. He's talking about real mo and all that. You know, I don't know if I'm supposed to
Oh,
say
look
anything
at you.
about that, but you know, he might be doing some real mowing all up there. And I mean, like he's got a and you know what's another thing too at his house? Another thing that is gorgeous and he never shows. He's got all kinds of flowers and like landscaping on the far side of his house. I'm talking, it's like a multi-level, like all aced in. It's like I walked over. I'm like, why don't you ever show this on the TV? You know, and he's just like, I don't know. I'm like, man, I'm like, this is gorgeous. And yeah, either him or I mean, I used to be a golfer, so you know, I do like the Lawn Tools house. You know, there that place is pretty. You know, I've been watching them since before they had 1,000 subs, and you know, watching that thing grow, it's pretty cool
Those guys are
with
working hard,
how
man.
they've turned that into a
Those
real
lawn tools
golf
are
course.
working hard to grow that channel, and
Yeah.
it definitely shows. And they're working hard on their lawn too. That was the lawn that I said I would trade with if I could have, you know, like 3 golf holes in my backyard. Because I think Jordan owns the lot behind his too, with the intention to, like, buy that at some point and build on it. So he has, like, a few acres behind his house too, and you always see him on the Toro Titan zero turn, like, in the woods, like, mowing. I'm like,
Hmm.
what are you mowing in the woods for?" I don't know if Left Tools in the chat, I don't know if he's on the watching the show tonight, but I've always wondered, you know, what is he mowing back there?
Yeah, you ever see
Yeah.
that on Instagram? Like the like Aaron will just videotape his brother,
He's,
and he'll
like,
be like,
in
"What
the
is he
trees
doing out
mowing. I'm
there?" You
like,
know?
"What are you mowing?"
Yeah, he's just playing in the trees in a zero turn. Like, dude,
I always thought
that's
that was funny.
crazy, man.
Speaking of the tools, here's you guys, I think this is at GIE. You got you and Justin and Jordan and Aaron. I think you guys met up. It looks like you guys are at the Toro booth. Um, Unfortunately, I didn't get to go to GIE at the time. I just really wasn't comfortable with being around, you know, tens of thousands of people. Just kind of given everything with the
Yeah.
pandemic, but it looked like it was a great time. And the unfortunate thing from what I'm hearing is GIE is not going to be the same as we know it. It's kind of split up. Louisville is not going to be the location anymore. So that may have been the last chance to
Oh,
actually go and actually experience GIE in that form.
oh, I did
But
not know that.
what did you like most about being at GIE?
Well, I mean, I met everybody, you know. You know, hanging out with Justin and the Lawn Tools. It was funny, right? When I showed up, you know, there's turf therapy and the we working crews in the lobby and met all of them and you know, hugs and everything. It's just like, oh my gosh, you know, PJ's over there, Cam, Polo, and you know, right when you walk in. And then it's like I go up and I come back down and then there's, you know, Dino and there's Chris, like just like other YouTubers, you know, and Instagrammers. They're just all over the place. You know, everyone's got cameras. You know, you go. I met Alan Hain, John Perry. You know, I met those guys, and you know, they're they're just they're cool. They're normal people. You know, a lot of people have hate on certain people and stuff, and you know, you meet them all, and at that moment, like at that point, it's just like we're all just like
Just
guys
hanging out.
talking. You know, like there's no business. You know, it's like you know, I'm not a business guy, you know, so that, you know, they're selling all product. I'm just a consumer walking around and, you know, they're just normal guys, you know, and, what's it called? You meet, some of the big companies, you see like the reps there and like, they're the ones that you talk to. Like if they comment on your stuff on Instagram or something, you meet all them, you know, and, you know, even though I met Matt Martin there and Kenny in that picture, you know, Chuck and stuff. Like I met a lot of people there, and it was just a good experience. And then the nightlife is crazy, man. Everyone, there's parties all over the place. Like I didn't send pictures, but you know, I was like at Alan's party, we were
Yeah,
throwing
sold out.
axes. There was another gaming party that the Lawn Whisperer and the Tools threw, and like we were at this Dave and Buster's, and and some people, people like to drink, man, out there. I met the Keep Off the Grass crew, and it's just cool, man. You can, like, the outside thing there, like, you can demo and just any kind of company that you've ever wanted to talk to or check their stuff out, that it was there, and I mean, that's wild if they're not going to have that. Like, I was already looking forward to that next year.
Yeah, and the whole experience is the one that you definitely don't want to miss out on, and that's what makes it kind of a little bit hard to face. The fact that and just from what I've heard from some of the vendors, College L. When I talked to Jim, he said, "Yeah, I think that's the final show where they're going to have the equipment and the fertilizer people all in the same place. Sounds like it's going to split up." So, if you did go to GIE, good on you because you probably aren't going to be able to experience in that way going forward. Don't take that as gospel because I could be totally wrong about that. They may plan it differently, but that's just kind of what I'm hearing on the inside. So,
Yeah, I was supposed to go with Rooted Lawn Co. Vince, and my other buddy Jordan. He was in the chat talking about going to that stuff, and sharing a room and hanging out. The nightlife. It just, I don't know, when you get to party with people, you get to see the other side of them, and they're looser, and it's just, I don't know. It was just a lot of fun, and then you wake up and you're right at it again, 3 days in a row. It's overwhelming. I didn't think so. Like, when I was showing up there, I was only going to go for like a day, maybe day and a half. And Justin was like, "You won't even see a quarter of this place in the first day." And I'm like, "How? You got to be kidding me!" And I got there, and you get lost. They give you maps. There's a map, like, of everything, and it was cool. It was definitely an experience going there.
so you were in Kentucky, I guess further south. Um, you know, I don't know what experience you have with grass types in the south, but it seems to me like you're pretty set with the rye. I think you're enjoying the rye. You kind of alluded to this answer a little bit earlier, but I always ask, if you had to, like, if someone had a gun to your head and you had to pick one grass type to live with for the rest of your life, what grass type would that be? I know you tried bluegrass. I think you got fescue in the backyard. You got rye in the front.
Yep.
If you had to pick one and only one, which one would it be?
Well, there's two circumstances. If I was going to do, I love ryegrass. I don't care about that sissy grass stuff. I like the way it stripes, but I would need a back supply of it, because when you get any kind of disease or you make a mistake, and like those rotary scissors, and I was learning how to use those, man, I tearing it up. And then now, when you have Kentucky bluegrass, that stuff fills back in, and when I had my old Kentucky bluegrass, like, my kids would be hitting golf balls and stuff. There'd be holes there, and like they'd patch themselves up. Now with the ryegrass, you have to keep
Yeah.
replanting. So, honestly, I would probably go with Kentucky bluegrass, even though it takes longer to germinate. And I remember when I first did that with the blue bank, I was sweating it. I was like, man, this is my first time doing, like, almost like, it was like maybe 60% of the lawn. I was like, did I make a mistake here? And then all of a sudden it grew, it sprouted, and then it did the little sprout and pout, and then it took off. And I'm actually, cause I'm 100% rye, that SS 9000 up front. I am, putting this stuff called, oh my gosh, it's called New Glade,
Yeah.
and or Everglade or something like that. I
New
can't remember
Glade
the name right now. Just
is a
like,
variety of bluegrass.
by
Um,
Hancock.
yeah, they sell it at Hancock. It was originally Baron Brugg just bought it from um, I can't remember the seed company that they distributed it before them. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, you can throw in the chat. Um, but like Midnight and New Glade and Everest, they were all made by this particular distributor, and then Baron Brugg just bought them last year, and it'll come to me kind of throughout the.
I don't think it's New Glade.
Okay,
I really don't want to, like, look on my
yeah, just look
phone
on your
while I'm
phone.
doing it. It's a, yeah. Let me look real quick, because if Turf Therapy's still in the chat, he knows what it is. Him and
Jacqueline seed.
do you remember mostly
Yeah,
green?
Nate.
That Nate, he did his lawn with it, and then Rob did his lawn with it, and it was like the dark, because I love a
Was it
dark
was it
color,
was it granite?
and
I remember
that
Nate talking about
that's
granite.
it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Yep. It was by Hancock Seed. And I don't know if you it was funny. The day that I did that, I don't know if you saw that little video I did. I think I might have put it on. Yeah, I did put it on YouTube, where like I pretend to like shoot those birds on my front lawn. That the box of the seed is sitting right there. And I was like, oh no, like revealing the secret. But I heard that stuff, like on all those trials that everyone
So I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you for the super chat. That's very appreciative. You certainly did not have to do that. Jamie said we just went dead. We may have lost connection there for a minute, but hopefully we're back. So um, I don't know. What should we do another giveaway, Clint? I've got another item I
Yeah,
want to give away. Do you want to do one? All right. I
yeah,
added
let's
a
do it.
couple
Let's give
names.
away the commander.
Okay. I've added a couple names. I saw a few more people join in the chat. So I
Hey,
will.
Jason's here. That
Hey,
guy has that guy has a nice golf swing.
he has
Jason,
all
you
the
have a nice
mowers
golf
too.
swing, man.
I don't. I butcher Jason's name every time. Um, so I'm just
Looks like
gonna
Sieberlick. That's what I would
Lieberlich.
think it is,
Sieberlich.
but I don't say
All right, no
people's
worries.
last names.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and spin the wheel. I'm gonna focus the camera, and we're gonna pick a winner. Which one are we giving away right now?
The commander.
The
No, I
Commander.
asked Andrew there's all kinds of microbes in it.
Farm Dad.
It's you know soil microbes. I'm not going to get into that yet. I know I did a video on like, oh, I'm getting like less fertilizer for the year. I'm getting into soil microbes. And I'm learning a lot about it, self-teaching myself, and working with the microbiologists over at Turf Titan. They're helping me out and get me educated on what the stuff that I'm learning and like what I want to learn. And that stuff takes a long time to change your soil profile. And this commander is actually fertilizer. The Thatch Buster is it's not Omri stated on there, but I mean it comes from like their organic fertilizer that they use out on their farms. And Commander is not the organic; that's real fertilizer, and that stuff will give you the quick green up that you're looking for and the growth that you want. So it's good stuff.
Nice. Yeah, probably some molasses or some sort of, you know, high carbohydrate stuff in there if it's going to be busting the thatch. So, well, I've got something I want to give away too. I've got a bottle of multi-purpose 402 here from BioPro. If you like a little bit of nutrient and you like a little bit of wetting agent and hydrotain in your product, multi-purpose
Ooh.
402 is for you. So we're gonna give away one of those. I think you've talked to Jim before, right? You've talked to the
Yeah.
BioPro guys in the past. Yeah, those are fantastic people. All right.
Yeah, I hung out with him at GIE. We were at Alan's party together, and he's the one that kept. I was talking to him about Turf Titan and what they're about, and he's like, "Oh yeah, bugs in a jug," and I was like, "That's a nice term." So
Bugs and Doug Striper Man, except this says Stripper Man, but it's definitely it's Striper Man. You are the winner of the
Keith,
multi-purpose 402.
I have one of Keith's special like limited edition stickers on my Allet right on the front. It's like his autograph. It's pretty cool. It's a custom Allet that I have. So Keith's the man.
Fantastic. Hey guys, that if you won prizes on tonight's show, don't forget. Not. I'll leave our emails in the description below. Shoot us your information, and we'll get those things sent out to you. So moving right along, when you mow, a lot of times you have a camera following you, so you probably don't. I don't know. If you're like me, I don't really listen to music or anything when I'm mowing a lot of times, especially if I'm filming. But when you do, what do you like to listen to? Except, I'm sure Uncle Cracker is probably throwing demos on your front
Yeah.
on your front porch. But
Yeah,
aside from
right.
that, what do you listen to when you mow?
Honestly, I don't listen to anything, and it's actually it's really nice too, especially in the backyard. It's pretty cool. Like I haven't seen it much on YouTube, but like I have a different thing going on with like as I'm mowing, all the boats that go by. And I'm talking, it's relaxing. It's like it can be a little loud, but we have like we have a thing here. It's called the Woodward Dream Cruise, and it's known like all over the place. People bring their cars there, and it's like you just sit there and watch, and like what the deep sound of like exhaust, and that's what I listen to in the back, and it's just like I can fall asleep to it. It's awesome. So I really don't listen to really any music at all, to be honest with you. It's like I like to listen to especially because real mowing, it's like when you hear the contact, the blade on the bed knife, and it's like cutting, it's like listening to scissors nonstop. It's like listening to the
It's
sprinkler.
pretty
People fall
satisfying.
asleep. ASMR,
Usually,
whatever.
when I'm getting a mow in,
That.
it's like I've got this very specific amount of time where I've got to go out and get it done, right? And I don't have time to like get set
Mhm,
up, find something to listen to. It's never that situation. It's always like I'm on the clock. Like I'm hitting the stop clock and I'm out and I'm mowing, I'm done.
mhm.
And usually I've got a camera following me and headphones just tend to get in the way. So unless I'm following proper PPE precautions and I'm wearing my 3M work tunes to make sure that I'm not damaging my ears in any way. Just want to disclose that. So
So, hey, I had a question for the chat,
go ahead.
if I can do that. So, I was thinking this is just an idea. I've been watching a lot of like I had the new variants, of sickness that's going on. I don't know if you're allowed to say
You
the
had the
C word on
Omicron?
here, but like yeah, I think it was either that or it was like the Delta or the Spirit airline one, whatever. But the I had that, and I was watching a lot of YouTube, and I was like stuck in the house, quarantined in a room, and I started watching some of this. Like it was funny, like the 3 days of no water, no food, no shelter, and like this guy's got to like do his like build his own shelter and stuff. But like it's a lot of just like no music, no anything, and or like it was like sleeping in a hot tent overnight in like 30 below weather, and it's just all you hear is like the sounds of nature and stuff. And they go through their routine of how they do it. And I was just like thinking about doing a video. I don't know, what does the chat think of if I just like did a video on what my routine is, with no music. It's like one of the times, like, let's say, like, I don't normally film, like, and I go through my steps and just no talking. It would just be like how I set everything up, mix everything. And, what would that be interesting, or does that sound kind of stupid? Because there's all kinds of like ASMR sounds, that like everyone loves the paper on their bed, the real knife and stuff like that. There's all kinds of that stuff going on. I was thinking about just showing people my routine
No
of what
talking.
I do because everyone
No
has a different
talking. Just
routine.
start to finish your routine. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think people do. I've had comments on videos where people say, "Get rid of the music. I want to hear the mower." Right. So it could be one of those things where people
Hmm.
just they want to hear the sounds of the environment, not some royalty free music that you slapped on top of a video. So yeah, man, I think you should definitely do it. Let's hear it in the chat though. I mean, do you guys like? Do you pretend? Not pretend. Do you prefer that sort of format, or do you like the music?
And another thing that has happened now, this is something that happens to me on the water. People going up and down with their boats, they'll be jamming their music, and on a like a handful of my videos, I had no idea. I got copyright claims all over the place on my stuff because it'll pick up like someone's rocking out. When
Yeah,
you're out on the water, it's a party day every day. So it's like AC/DC, Kid Rock, all this like loud music is playing, and I never thought about it. Especially my older videos, and I've now learned, like, whenever I'm in the backyard, I'd like to just let the sound go, but I can't because everyone's just jamming music that is all copyrighted stuff, and I don't want to get any strikes. It was funny. Like, I learned that not like the hard way, but I mean, I just like when I started figuring out that stuff, like I looked at my YouTube channel and like everything was red. And I'm like, what's going on here?
yeah, that'll bite you every time. I've had that happen to me too, and it was you can try and edit it out on the YouTube editor, but it never works, at least the way you want it to.
Yeah. Cool. People are saying that they would
All
like
right.
to see the routine because I'm actually pretty proud of how I set up my garage with all the stuff that's in there, and I'd like to show that. And a lot of it was Brian, the lawn pusher, showed me wall control, and like I have like a whole grass set up and like tools, and it's just like I have a workbench, like I'm mixing like a little my laboratory with all my gloves and chemicals, and yeah, so cool. Oh, someone just said in the chat, Clint, do you do Jobby Nooner? I don't know if you saw that. Jobby Nooner is there's an island that is maybe like a 10-minute boat ride. And uh, people will skip out on work and they like play hooky from work. And then it is a monster party. And I'm talking like hundreds and hundreds of boats. They all link up in circles around this island, and I don't do it. It's disgusting because not everybody has a
Right.
bathroom on the boat, and the water's significantly warmer
Yeah,
over
I can
there
only
from what I
imagine.
hear. So you know, yeah, I stay away from all that. So it's and plus I'm a family
You don't do
man. I
that
don't
stuff.
do
Well,
that
that those
stuff
days are
anymore.
far behind
Yeah. So, but no, I know of it, and I've driven by it by boat, but I don't partake in any of the partying stuff anymore.
you. Yeah, we're not as young as we once were, and as you drink your Coca-Cola Classic, on a Saturday
Yeah,
night while we do a YouTube live stream. That's about as wild as it gets these days. Mm,
I know it's a Diet Coke now. It's like I gotta watch the weight, man.
that's
So,
funny. So is that
but
whenever you're done mowing, on a hot day, you reach for an icy cold Diet Coke, or is it a cold beer, or is it just regular old water? What do you do?
no, back in the day it used to be a beer. I don't drink. That's something like probably a lot of people don't know about me. I don't drink at all. But when I'm done mowing the lawn, my absolute favorite thing is simply fruit punch on the
Okay.
rocks. And like I can drink that stuff like crazy. It doesn't have that like super sweet like Hawaiian punch, it's like this it's supposed to be all real stuff in there, but I mean, man, that stuff is
I'm gonna have to
delicious. And
try
I
it.
and I keep that we have especially my daughter loves it, but we have to have at least like 3 containers of it on hand because in the summertime, I'm pounding that stuff down. It's so good. And I thought about when you said like, "I'm gonna probably ask you this question." I knew it right away. I
You're
was like
probably
waiting
just
for it.
craving it
So,
at that moment. You're like, man, I could go for one.
I oh, yeah. I'm thinking about it right now. Is it I love it. Is it yeah, but on a hot summer day,
Nice.
fruit punch. That is simply
I've
fruit
had
punch, not
the
just any fruit
Simply
punch. It's
Orange. I've
called
had the
Simply.
Simply Lemonade. Next time I'm at the
Sounds
grocery,
awesome.
I'm gonna get some Simply Fruit Punch in your honor and give it a shot. I trust your
Yes.
judgment.
Yeah, it's those. Hey, Jamie says he's 9 years sober. I haven't. Not that we're getting into that, but I mean, like, I haven't had a sip of anything in. I think it's around like
Wow.
7 years. So I just, wanted to. I do pizza for a living. It's like the lifestyle is just like they're partiers and stuff, and I had to leave that.
I've been there.
I don't know, focused on the lawn and
Yeah,
wanted a family.
working in the restaurant
So
industry, that's kind of the status quo, right? And yeah,
yes,
it's not
yes, it
something you
is.
can
So
do forever. At some point, you got to kind of get it together. So, congrats on doing that, and also congrats to Jamie on 9 years sober. Um, you know, I am a casual drinker. It's not something where I can't remember the last time I was like really drunk to where I blacked out. But when I'm done mowing, I'll go for a nice cold bush light, or maybe a
ooh.
natty light. If it depends on what I've got
Yeah.
on a nice day, and kind of relax and sit back and look at my. It depends on what time of year. If it's like April or May, look at my beautiful Kentucky bluegrass. If it's July, my dead Kentucky bluegrass, and just kind of enjoy the fruits of my labor. So we're kind of getting at time here, but I wanted to, before we wrap things up, kind of talk about any plans that you've got going into this year. Is there anything exciting you can talk about or want to talk about?
Yeah, like now that everyone's like in the chat, I did mention it in the very beginning about that. One of my managers, his name's John. He just bought his first house. It's actually him and his brother. They bought it together, and yeah, I'm doing working with Great Lakes Ace, Ace Hardware, and they're sponsoring the whole thing. I'm gonna renovate his whole lawn. He's doing a lot of the work, but I'm gonna do a little series on that, and yeah, this year I'm going to be doing a lot with Turf Titan, showing off a lot of the new products that are coming out and that I'm excited about. And the big thing is that Allet, the
Yeah,
Sterling,
the Roger
they
Sterling.
named their stuff after castles over there, and I thought the Sterling too is a pretty sick name. So yeah, that's what I'm really looking forward to is doing some content on that and showing everybody about it because they're only making limited numbers of it. And I feel like it's like when I had the Liberty, not a lot of people had it, and I don't know how many people are going to have the Sterling, and I'm going to show everyone what it can do and what I like and what I don't like about it, and there's other like people on, I'll be working with too this year, like I'm teaming up with HoseLink and obviously Turf Titan and now Toro sent me a little
Saw
palette.
that.
I'll be doing a lot of battery stuff. I'm obsessed with battery. Like I don't know. I find it's quieter, cleaner. It's instant power. And I just want to show people like what they have to offer. I have some other Ego products that I didn't really show last year, so I'm going to be doing some comparison videos, and I'm kind of trying to be I'd like to show people what I do and everything, but kind of like a product review channel, like that way. Because when I first started, I didn't know what to look for, and I'm watching like people like Alan Hain talking crazy math and stuff, and I didn't get it, and I didn't know what kind of mower to buy or anything like that. So I just figure like whatever kind of content that I can put out that would help somebody starting out, and especially with like the new age people coming into buying these houses, like battery's the thing. And I have some battery options, and I want to be able to show them, what they're
Yeah, man, I'm
about.
I'm 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 all in on that too. And with the hose links, I have two hose links. And I know a lot of people kind of look at those as like YouTuber like you know um, hype, but I can tell you that the hose links are legit. I I love them. I will never go back to a regular hose ever again. Uh, like
Yeah,
the
they're
hoses would give me
awesome.
high blood pressure with the way they kink, and I'd have to put them back into the hose reel. Like the retractable reels are fantastic. Hose links are awesome. If hose link ever has a sale, don't hesitate to buy one. Um, and I guess kind of my take on into this year. Every year I look at my content and kind of think about what can I do better, and what do I think would attract more viewers. And I think what more people want, because there's so many YouTube channels out there now, and I think what people want is they
Hmm.
want you to just kind of the the meat on the bones, right? Like get straight to it. And so I think that's what I'm going to
Yeah.
focus on this year is just shorter videos, but the content just like gets right into it. Like no messing around, no B-roll. Here's the tip. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks. Right. And I'm gonna try that out and see how
Yeah.
it goes, because I think there's a lot of people who are still getting into lawn care for the first time that have been stuck, working from home or whatever the case may be. And there's just tons of development going on with new homes and new homeowners that are going to be looking for tips for lawn care. So I think more than likely I'm going to be focusing on the beginner and just give them the facts. This is what it is. This is how you get it. And another thing I've thought about too is 99% of the people watching our videos probably are not using equipment anywhere near what we have in the garage, right? So,
Hmm.
kind of going back to
Yeah.
basics a little bit and making it, because you really don't need all of the things that we have a good looking lawn. It's pretty basic, and that's kind of where I'm
Correct.
going
Yeah.
to get my refocus to this year.
I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to copy you now. No, but
You wouldn't be the first.
I'm getting. I'm gonna do. I feel the way I am. Like I have a little bit of humor in my videos. I try to at least, but I get long winded, and that's what I was going to focus on this year. Is not, especially to the demographic that watches these kind of videos, they're like, at least a lot of my people are like in their 30s. So, it's not like they're watching Mr. Beast where it's like crazy like that. But I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit this year, have a little more energy, in the videos, that way it's just not so much like, all right, I'm going to take this to O3 and I'm going to put, I'm going to mix a little bit of the, I'm going to be like, we're going to take this and that and we're going to throw it in here. I'll leave the mixture down below if you want to
Yeah,
even
like,
look at that,
do you
I'm
remember
like, let's get
those
out
like
there,
tasting
and
videos that really like that were around like maybe 5 years ago? Those cooking videos where it was like, and there was no sound
oh
or anything. It
yeah,
was just like them doing it, and it was done. Like lawn videos like that, I think would go over really well. I have a tendency too to kind of ramble from time to time because none of my content is scripted. I'm just like I go out there and I ad lib every all of the content is improv. There's nothing I don't like put together a script when I don't have time to do all that stuff. But I just like,
me
here's
too.
what I'm
Same.
doing. This is why I'm doing it. And if you want to do it too, here's everything you need. If you don't like the content, then don't watch, right? But yeah.
Hmm.
So I think I need to get to kind of back to the basics on what I'm doing. Maybe simplify it a little bit, but then also um, I going back and watching some of my early videos from the season before. I would do this. I had this really bad habit of like, this is what I'm doing to my lawn, and then like 2 weeks later, show the results. Like I need to do that in one video
Hmm.
where I show here's what I did, and then here's the results in one video. You don't have to wait 2 weeks to go back and watch it. That's something that I think, and even when I watch it now, it really bothers me. Like that would really piss me off if I was watching a video and I had to wait to see the results on something because it's almost like you're
That,
wasting my time.
that's what I did in my videos last season. Like I was trying to do that, like when I did my peat moss video, that grass took 2 to 3 weeks, and it's like, or like I think it was like 2 weeks, and I did no peat moss or peat moss. What's your take on it? And I seeded it, did it all the same, and I waited. And man, it was killer sitting on like this video. I'm like, but I want to show the end result. Same thing with my backyard. And then I did a green up video, and people want to see the results, not like, hey, I'm throwing this down and I'll see you in a couple weeks, make sure you tune in. It's like that
And you're like, "Yeah,
sucks
I'm gonna
big
get that
time,
guy to
man. Like, so
subscribe, and he's gonna watch in 2 weeks." But really, he's like
I,
throwing his phone
I,
across the
tur-
street because he wanted to see the results. Yeah,
I
yeah,
know it's like, what a waste of time,
I
it's
completely
like
agree.
whatever, but
Um, so
I'm with you on that though.
before we call it, you got it. Is there anything else you got going on this year that the viewers should look out for? In any new products? I know we talked about Turf Titan a little bit. Any project lawns going on, or anything you want to talk about?
Yep, just working with Ace, doing that lawn and renovation for my manager, teaming up with I'm going to be doing a video on hose link and giraffe, and I already spilled the beans, about I'm working with hose link. I mean,
No
I'm going to
bias
show which
whatsoever.
one the
Yeah.
yeah, I know. But no, it's what's nice too is it's like the content that I create, even though like some of these people I'm working with, I'm allowed to say however I feel, and it's like honest reviews. And I can say I don't like this about the product, and I made it clear when I was like, when these people approach me and they're just like, yeah, let's do something together. I'm just like, well, if I want to talk trash, you got to let me do it. And they're like, yeah, so, but I guess one last thing, I was debating about saying it, but like there might be sometime in June, I might be having to take a little break from YouTube because, I switched my YouTube banner. It says father of four, and I only have 3 kids right now because we got one in the oven. It's been,
Wow.
my wife is four months right
Congratulations.
now. So that's been a
Breaking
little
the news
secret,
here on my channel. That's
so
fantastic, man. Congratulations.
yeah. So, it was on purpose too. So it's like we're family for we want to have a big family. So that's coming this summer. So
That is
yeah.
awesome.
So I'm trying to get all the content in line and everything, and try and knock it. Try and build a bank up so it doesn't go stagnant. But yeah, it's I'm going to be focusing on my new my new
Yeah,
baby coming up real
you might
soon.
get a little busy mid-season. So if you fall off the face of the earth, we'll know that nothing's wrong. You're just not sleeping very well, and you're probably switching bottles out. So been there, been there before
Yeah.
myself. Awesome, man. That is fantastic. Congratulations to you and the missus on the future addition to your family. I'm sure at some point, we'll hear more about that, but that's awesome. I'm so happy for you, man.
Thank you. I'm really excited for we don't know if it's
Are
a
you
boy or a
gonna
girl
find out,
yet,
or is it
so,
gonna be a
you know,
surprise?
we're yeah, I can't do that.
Okay.
I have to find out because it's not even so much, if it's a boy, it's great. It's 10 fingers, 10 toes. I'm one of those people that's great, but it is for the room. I don't want to do like a neutral room. It's like if it's a girl, it's going to be girly. Boy, it's going to be Superman and
Yeah.
Spider-Man, whatever, blue. I can't just like leave the room blank and then we have the baby and then now I'm gonna paint the room and it's gonna smell like fumes. Like I don't think so. Like I gotta know
Yeah,
beforehand and
that's
set it
exciting,
all
man.
up. So
That's one of the my the some of the best times of my life I can remember is prepping for a new baby. Getting whether it's the family being excited, people contributing to stuff that you need for the baby. I'm assuming you haven't gotten rid of any of the things you've had from your previous kids, with the anticipation for getting a new one. I know that people that have gotten rid of all their baby stuff and then they had an oopsie, and sometimes that does happen. So, I'm super happy to hear that
I
you guys
mean,
want to have a big family. That most people don't, and these days, small families are kind of the norm. So, have,
yeah.
yeah, awesome. Well, that was one hell of a way to end the show. I appreciate you sharing that news with everybody and breaking it here. So,
Yeah.
everybody, give a round of applause for Clint. Nice job, sir.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate
Thank you.
everybody. What's
It's
that? Were you gonna say something?
Oh no, I was just like saying thank you. I appreciate everyone saying congrats and everything, and it's I feel like I know all these people that are talking in the chat. I talk to them on a regular basis. Whether it's Instagram or through the YouTube videos. I talk to you
Yeah,
a lot. We talk on the phone. And I talk to a lot of these people on the phone, and it's just like I've been holding it in, and it's kind of cool to
yeah. It
let
feels
everyone
good to
else
get it
know.
off your
So
chest, for sure. Awesome.
yeah,
Well, like I said, thanks for the reason we do this is for the people that follow, right? And you giving us their
hmm
time to come on and interact with us. I think it's incredible that there's people out there I've never met, but we talk through social media. I call them my internet friends. So all of my internet friends that joined in the chat and watch all the videos, like, subscribe, do know that we appreciate that. You guys are the reason that we continue to do this. And I wanted to thank you, Clint, for coming on. I know you're busy. You're a busy guy. Tossing pizzas, and you got a busy family, and you got a busy lawn life too. And thanks for coming on and taking some time to hang out. I love getting to know the creators more on a personal level, and just kind of hanging out. While we don't have any grass to mow right now, but we can still get on a live stream and talk about our plans and family plans and maybe things that we've got going on and different products. So thanks for coming on. I'm sure I'll be catching up with you pretty soon. So that's going to do it for us. Anything you want to say to close?
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. I was a little bit nervous coming on here because I don't do the live stuff, and I appreciate everyone, showing up in the chat. And it's tough, honestly, doing this stuff. Just let everyone know. It's like I'm like trying to stare at the camera, like Brandon's on the computer
It's
and the
not
chat's
easy.
going on. It's like I'm trying to stay in one spot, so it's like Super TA, Grace, Dan, Scott, Urban Dad, Simon, everyone. It's like it was awesome that everyone showed up. Turf Titan, everybody, like, and then Kenny, everyone. Just thank you so much for
Yeah,
tuning in.
streaming ain't
Appreciate
easy.
it.
I can say that. I struggle with it every week. So, with that, guys, we are gonna exit the building. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And it wouldn't be a LawnTube video without saying, and we'll see you in the next one. Good night,
See you
everybody.
guys.